way past Hodgson yet, though.
Steve Plater is looking so confident now as a Superbike rider. He knows he can run with the best in the country.
Mike's looking good too, though. That Kawasaki looking better and better as every week goes by. We're on lap 12 of the 28 now. Long way to go in this race yet. It's all about whether Stalker's tyres stay together. Same tyres on most of these motorcycles. I'm saying most of them. Of course, they're all Dunlops.
Yeah, but you're talking about grade of tyre, compound, whatever they've chosen.
Whatever they've chosen in particular. And I haven't got my book with me to tell me what.
Oh,
John Reynolds rides pillion with Walker and goes under him at the Lake S's. Superb. Hayden goes around the outside, or tries to.
Hodgson going for third? No, not wrong.
Dear me, would have done if Hayden had gone out wide enough there, but up into the braking area of the hairpin. Shaw's hairpin. Oh! And we know John Reynolds will push and shove as much as he needs to. John Reynolds is a tough little fighter as well as Chris Walker. What a battle we're in for here. Race 2 at Mallory Park. What a treat.
Any of these 5 could win this race at the moment, any of them.
Anybody who's braved the fuel crisis to get here, well, it'll be worth running out of petrol for on your way home.
Well, definitely. John Reynolds, we're concentrating on in first place.
Yes, get it right.
So he took the lead last time round, looking smoother than most of them, I have to say.
Now, he said he had a bit of trouble with his arms in race 1. Well, he's not had to work quite. Oh, red flag. No. Red flag now then. Where will that be taken from, of course, because they take it 1 lap back from the actual red flag. I wonder where that puts them. We've got an aggregate race coming up. So that was and I've got to report Marty Craggle. Yeah, it's Marty Craggle that's gone down. So Marty Craggle has gone down and they've stopped the race. Now, at the end of the stoppage, it was Walker that's deemed in front of Reynolds, Hayden, Hodgson and Plater, and we've got a 17-lap restart, which means despite the fact Reynolds was leading at the end of part 1, he actually is back to 2nd place for part 2.
John, fairly frustrating for you, seeing as though you were going so well.
Well, again, you know, got into the lead and the race got stopped, but there you go. I mean, you know, I see Marty's up and about, so, you know, the crash was not too bad. I'm glad about that, but yeah, I mean, it's frustrating that the race got stopped.
So an aggregate race imminent. That is always a mathematician's problem with a track this short as well, Julian. Very difficult for the teams to keep their men in form. You can see Paul Denning to the left of your picture there, keeping an eye on his charge, Chris Walker,
who will start off pole for this 17-lap second half.
Now, Neil Hodgson has a big problem here because he was only 4th. So when you add his aggregate together, he could win this race by a second.
And still
finish in
4th
2nd place even
overall.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So a lot of mathematics to do here as we come to the restart of this race. Race 2 at Mallory. Well, it was dramatic. Marty Craggle brought it to a premature end. This is part 2. Aggregate, remember. So do your mathematics. Oh, not such a good start for John Reynolds there either. He bogged down that clutch. Oh, but look at Chris Walker. Wow, superb start again from Chris Walker. He never misses one. And from Steve Plater. Steve Plater
up to 4th.
Indeed, he was 5th in race 1. Oh, no, he isn't. He's back to 5th now. Hodgson's just duffed him up. So these guys, well, they've got telemetry on their bikes, of course, tells them what sort of times they're doing around this track so they can pace themselves just perfectly. Chris Walker knows, though, if he's in front of everybody, he's going to win overall. Doesn't matter about aggregate. The only time he's got a problem is if Joe Reynolds is in front of him.
And it's going to be interesting to calculate the relative positions of Walker and Hodgson overall, because if they finish like this, Chris Walker will go back to the head of the championship.
In fact, as they are at the moment, oh, and that looked like Michael Rutter rubbing himself up against the inside curb there. That's a big old curve to be. Yes, indeed. Thanks for that, Jules. Very graphic. No one was looking. As we come down Devil's Elbow there, Chris Walker still leads. Onto the front straight, the Kirkby straight, off towards Gerrards. Walker from Hayden, from Reynolds, from Hodgson. That's your top 4. And I think I saw Crawford having a bit of a go at Plater there, but Plater still holds 5th place with John Crawford in 6th on bike 11.
John Crawford had a good first race, finished 6th overall, just did Jeffries in the final laps. Now Hayden,
I'll tell you what, Hayden, he can't do this championship anymore. I think he's just too far away from the championship, so race wins are what young James Hayden must go for now, just to get his name right up the front again.
Yeah, that's what he's going for as well, stalking the stalker, who as usual got the whole time. James Hayden.
I tell you what, James Hayden, if anxiety showed in a right hand, it would be James Hayden's, because every time he's really trying to squirt that power on just a little earlier than everyone else. Oh, and Reynolds is up out the seat there too. Let's take another look at this. James Hayden, unbelievable. That is a classic high side. He caught it brilliantly, James Hayden, but we saw what he did at the S's in the race 1 out today. I mean, he is having some mammoth rear slides.
He certainly has big black line left on the tarmac. Interesting view of the bus stop as the leaders go.
Oh, Plater's got big problems with Crawford. Crawford's underneath him here. Look at this. This is the 5th place battle. Crawford's alongside Plater. Well, these two, both from the Super Sports class last year, remember, they renew hostilities in the Superbike
John Crawford, double champion, of course, for Suzuki.
Look at this! Oh, Hayden is right there. He don't give up. Hayden and Walker. Hayden on 5.
Oh, that's a hook.
There is a left hook to Hayden. Hayden right out on the marbles. Dear me, Hodgson. Yeah, I think Hodgson gets by safely. No, he doesn't.
Reynolds now takes up the chase in second place.
I'll tell you what, Neil Hodgson won't be thanking Hayden for that one. Down towards the bus stop. Hayden now in third place on bike 5. Hodgson being held up a little bit here by, yeah, he is, by 5. Hayden as he recovers from that. Take another look at this. Chris Walker then, we're on board with him. Hayden runs right at him. Now, this is where the driver, the Ducati, gets great drive on Chris Walker, gets alongside him, and then as Walker goes to the outside of the track, Hayden's coming to the inside of it, and the two of them bump. Yeah.
Very.
I was going to say bump pelvises, but that probably don't work.
Knee to knee, and now Walker, Reynolds, Hayden, Hodgson, Plater. That is the order they finished the first half of this race in.
Up towards the hairpin. We're on board with Walker, and he's under attack as the flames fly from the back of his bike. Oh, Reynolds gets it wrong. Hayden almost hits his teammate, and Hodgson takes an opportunity, but gets
squeezed.
Neil Hodgson. Well, that ruffled his hair.
Just a little bit. Now, what they've spread out now, Keith, and you've got to add in the gaps from part 1 to the gaps you can actually see on the track.
Well, the big
to get a true picture.
As far as I'm concerned, the big matter is Walker leading, Hodgson 4th. That was the same as in the first part of it. Let's take another look at this. This is superb stuff. So Walker on the perfect line, but running out wide, yes, Reynolds, and then Hayden. I tell you what, Reynolds got it all hooked up badly there, and Hayden really, he was the innocent victim of all of that, and he just about held on to his place from Hodgson, who has to run out. Of course, there's not a lot of love lost about Rev A Red Bull versus INS GSE Ducati. They're both running Ducatis, and well, it's got to be about the first team Ducati, hasn't it?
Yes, you ride for your team, not for the factory that made the bike.
Indeed. So, still leading, Chris Walker, still second, as we keep an eye out. It is Reynolds, Hayden third, just from number 4, Neil Hodgson, who's got some work to do here if he's going to pick up a place.
One more lap to go, Keith, and they've got to swap positions on the track before they swap places in the overall result here. So at the moment, we're looking at...
Well, Hodgson has got to get in front of Hayden. Last lap time, that's the last lap flag that was held out there. Hodgson's got to get past Hayden if he wants to pick up 4th place. Oh, and he's got it. Now he's got to lead Hayden by enough. That's the point.
Yes.
He's all very well getting past Hayden, but if Hayden finishes this close to him,
then it's irrelevant.
Then it's irrelevant, because Hayden will still finish in front of
in third
Hodgson.
Place, not 4th.
Indeed, in front of Hodgson in the overall aggregate time.
And Hayden wants it on the track.
Oh, Hayden, James. Dear me.
You're on the rostrum, James.
Well, he might be. That is assuming he doesn't make a big mistake with the back markers. 88 comes into view. That's Colin Hipwell. Oh! He knows he's got to finish close, but how close? Look at Hipwell. He's no mug, is he? He's
well out of the way.
Chris Walker's going to win it on the road and on aggregate time. Then we've got to find out where Reynolds will get second place. Who's third? Hayden's got it. Hayden's got to be close enough. So Hayden has been close enough to Hodgson to take that place from him. So Hayden will get third. Hodgson only 4th. So I make it Chris Walker for the first time this year goes to the top of the championship table.
Definitely.
Chris Walker for the very first time, despite all his efforts, hits the front. So that has been John Reynolds who's led the championship. Neil Hodgson who's led the championship, and now Chris Walker. I think he knows it.
I think you're right. He's done the sums.
Superb stuff. Chris Walker the winner then, no doubt about that at all. And a big burnout coming. We've seen flames out the back of his bike. Now you can see a load of rubber sticking all over our camera, and that's why, yes, the National Tyre Suzuki, well, he's got plenty in that particular group of sponsors, hasn't he? Chris Walker then the winner by 0.6 of a second on aggregate time from John Reynolds. A fine second, but disappointing, I'm sure, for him. James Hayden third, Hodgson 4th, Steve Plater, John Crawford, Neil Mackenzie and Michael Rutter. That's your top 8. Sean Emmett on the Travis Perkins Honda in 9th place. Byrne, Jeffries, Young, Kip, Heel and Wood round out the point scorers with Gordon Blackley 16th.
Chris, wow, congratulations. You are now the championship leader by 6 points. I think you just heard.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's the first time I've led the championship this year. So I mean, we've been fighting for it for a long while, and I've struggled a bit this weekend. So it's nice to come away with a win, and that's almost more important to me than leading the championship. But obviously, it's good to be in a good position going into Brands Hatch. Neil's going to be strong there, and John again. So fingers crossed, some more good results, and the Suzuki keeps on going like it is.
I tell you what, you were very difficult to pass. You were riding very defensively out there, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just losing a bit of drive out of Gerard's, and I knew the guys had got the legs on me down the back straight, so I was trying to make myself as wide as possible.
It was such a hard pace, and Chris was weaving all over